It's really early. It's just like the sun's coming up. Must be like 6:37 in the morning. Man, it just blows me away at how absolutely how vast YouTube is, just how vast it is. I could send out 5 friend requests every 8 seconds and never catch up to the number of people joining to even market to the people in California. I could never catch up to them as quick as they join. Only California. It's just so vast. There's so many different personalities and people out there. Really, it's just so crazy. I haven't had an absolute fuck you in several days again. Those usually come about one a week, sometimes one every 2 weeks. Not much considering 50,000 friend requests go out a day at this point, soon to be all at once. And again, I really go through and do a whole lot of, they're filtered through a computer system that's fairly elaborate to filter out people who don't want to be contacted and so on. Occasionally they snake through. I just got one, what did it say? Oh, it just said "Get Lost" posted on one of my songs. And I thought about another person who has control issues. It's like people who, it's highly likely that person has been in a situation of where they've been out of control, such as an abusive parent or situation, and the only place in the world that they have control, that particular person was just from all the markings and writings and videos, definitely had been a victim of child abuse, and or I would have said abusive spouse, whatever. In a world where control is what we're all after, a sense of control, that's the only thing that person can control. It says on their side, "I hate spammers." And I kind of understand that, and I used to be the same way, and now it's like I grew. I understand more. It takes no time at all for me to just, as I'm going through my stuff, and I actually enjoy getting all the videos from around the world, the weird stuff. But again, mine is definitely not just out and out blind spam. It's targeted. If I could just get everybody I send to come to my page, every day I get at least 10 or 20 that just, they're so thrilled they found my page. They love it. I get "thank you for spamming me" all the time. All the time. It's insane. And I don't want to, we all have rights and so on. I don't want to bother anyone, and yet YouTube is just so vast. My other site is kind of sad because I don't market it, never really did. It took 5 years to get 80,000 people, and those came by accident. But it's just kind of funny because some of the videos over there definitely deserve thumbs down. I don't think anything deserves a thumbs down, but I'd say I could understand a thumbs down. On some of those, some songs on YouTube, mine or anybody else's, don't deserve that, but it's kind of weird and discouraging and sad to see videos with that have been up for a few years that have, under 100 views, sometimes 10, 20, 30 views, and 2 thumbs up and 1 thumbs down, then they don't deserve a thumbs down at all. it is a great joy to have. I lose touch with that all the time because so many people thumb up and contact. You know, they comment, give me a thumbs up, and thousands now, and it's just amazing. I lose touch with how it's turned the whole every night is sort of like a live rock concert, you know. I can literally just sense the people around the world. It's really crazy. It makes you want to do better work, and I don't want to say try harder because that seems to be a route to failure, to try too hard. It's not so much trying, it's more of you know, for me, it's just about doing the work. I could do a song and video every single day and have it come out professional because I've had a lot of practice at it. But if I do the work, and then the most important thing seems to be later, to do the work and then listen back later and choose stuff that still seems to be special after a few days or weeks or months. Although it's a temptation, like I did that Elton John song, Leave On, and I liked it. I knew it wasn't going to be any less or more ever. It was what it was. It's really nice for some people. And did the video and song in like, you know, a few hours and posted it. Because you get excited about things as an artist, whatever you're currently working on. Perspective is hard to have sometimes, but yes, YouTube is just so vast. 1 million. Imagine, it just blows my mind when you really get into numbers as I have in life and math. It's insane. It's with 1 million people, you could shake hands with 1,000 people a day for 1,000 days, and that would be 1 million. I mean, the numbers are just insane. Just to think that there's that many other people out there. What it's also kind of shown me is, in life, you're lucky if you run across anybody out there who is on the same wavelength you are on. You know, the same vibe that you're on, and it's like, I realize, wow, really all the people that I am on the same vibe with are scattered all over the world. It's like some science fiction movie. We're all like, on a certain wavelength. And it just it's shown me that, like, just because I've been around certain people doesn't mean that they belong in my life or even as my friend, but they're the only thing. Before I went away from society, you know, it's like, well, they're the only people around. And I think we're here in this realm to learn lessons, you know. Whether you're an American or a Dutchman or a Filipino or a red, white, blue, or green man, I don't think the circumstances matter that much. I think we're here to learn certain spiritual lessons, and people are put in our path for a reason. I mean, that's one philosophy on it. Although I now tend to think, it almost makes me sad to think, oh my God, I have never really chosen carefully the people around me, like, and surrounded myself with people that were on the same vibe and supportive and loving and kind and cool and gentle and excellent people, you know. I've always had people around that seemed to be more of a hindrance than anything, and I had to be the strong one and the person who sort of pulled everything together. just made me feel like there's others out there who will understand. Sometimes it feels like some of the people that I've gathered up uh, are awesome, and then some of the people that have written me and stuff, I go to their page and it's so obvious they have like some pretty bad problems, like I do. Shit, what am I talking about? It's nice to hear from anybody, but you know, sometimes it feels like that movie Animal House, where it's like he comes into the party and it's like, hey, hi, you're so-and-so, come on with me. And he shows him around the party and he goes, oh, in this room there's Mustafa, all these guys who are just total kind of geeky losers, you know. That part in Animal House. And then I always feel like, oh man, I'm being relegated to like the people who are complete, you know, idiot losers room on YouTube. I'll take them all, though, you know. I'll take everybody I can get, really. I'm proud of that fact. What a world this is. What a life this has been. What a world. I know everybody thinks they've had this kick-ass and unique life. It's sort of a perspective problem. But, yeah, I have had, that's why I'm keeping this vlog, because I just want to somehow live forever, I guess. But also, it's like so many things have happened to me that were like, I would go away and go, did that just happen? You know, that's incredible. Did that happen? And then like 10 minutes later, something else like that would happen. Or the next day, where it's like things some people would talk about the rest of their life seem to happen to me every day, you know. Never did tell my Planet Caravan story. What a gift, though, and how absolutely wonderful it is. You know, I'm getting used to it, but like on my other side, I'd get a comment every 3 months. And I marketed it for about 2 weeks a year ago, and I got so many, and rightfully so on that one. The material wasn't ready, and I've had a problem with being sort of a person in my life. I was like, well, if they can't see that this is really good, it has really good potential, then, you know, fuck them. And the thing is, and I was being sort of doing that, knowing full well that I could do much better work. What you kind of have to realize is, especially nowadays, you have to give a person a map, then take them by the hand and walk them to an idea, then walk them through it holding their hand while providing them with food and drink and beverage along the way. What I'm saying is you have to be so clear and so, you know, well thought out music that sounds good, it's easy to listen to, whether it be thrash metal or soft rock. It has to be listenable, and it has to be well produced, and it has to have a nice video with it. And it's just, you know, there's so much out there. I don't want to go and see like real amateurish. Well, sometimes, but not over and over again. Well, sometimes too, but that's not going to happen much. Videos, you know, I wasn't even trying before, you know, because I've done so much high-level professional work. I had a certain attitude and arrogance about me. Still do, I guess, sometimes. Not really as much anymore. I know some of the things I say, people look at, well, that Eric is an arrogant bastard, you know. It's not at all. It's just, I think my kind of humor is, a lot of it's sarcasm, and I'm hard to understand sometimes, but, and I'm working on that too. Just having more oblique, in-your-face humor, you know, that's like that. But I like kind of snitty little side things, you know. But one of the things too about YouTube has made me realize it's hard to say anything like that at all, but when you are good at something, and I've been good at several things in my life, like what I consider really damn good, you know, not only music but other things, you're always going to have people around you that not only don't help you, but they hurt you, you know, they hurt your case. I had there's one Spanish composer that was on my personal email list, and I used to live next door to him in an apartment building, Arturo Solar, and his wife had a thing for me, so I had to stay away from him, because I never have messed with another man's wife, ever, or a girlfriend. Once, even in school, once a guy had dated a girl and I knew they were close and in love, I would never ever date that girl out of respect for him and our friendship, or just out of respect for something there, you know. And you know, then I realized when I grew up, you know, every roadie fucked my first wife, and really plotted and helped her leave, you know. It's like they had no respect, and I realized, oh, they live in a different world than I do. They're just, a lot of guys are just out to fuck whatever they can. But anyway, this guy Arturo, my neighbor, I composed like a 74 minutes is the maximum you can put on a CD, so I composed like a 74-minute ambient kind of symphony thing, and I ran into him and gave him one, and he's like a Spanish composer, and went to some conservatory, and he's but the stuff, you know, and actually pretty good. Then I gave him one of those, and after that he was like, oh, hey, Eddie, I cannot believe you're a composer. I heard him listening to it all the time and really over-analyzing it and stuff, you know, and he would ask me certain questions about certain passages, and I thought, man, you're really overthinking this, dude. I used to do that too, you know, and he would listen to it, and one day he came up to me and he goes, hey, Eddie, I'm a jealous. He goes, you're a composer. I didn't know for several years you live here and you're jealous. I'm jealous and you're a composer. I did not know. I'm sorry, my friend. You know, and I was like, okay, you know, crazy, passionate Spaniard. Well, anyway, I had him on my personal mailing list of people that I just happened to have their email address, and like a dozen, and I would send them out when I'd finish a video and post it. I'd send it out. I noticed after I put his name on it, I'd send out an email on my friends. There'd be a thumbs down without fail on one of my videos within a few hours every time. So I started, and I just used sort of my right brain, which is drawing on the right side of the brain, is something I haven't mentioned. I'm going to finish with that probably. But I just used the right side of my brain, sort of got an overall pattern. I thought, which one of these people would be giving me a thumbs down out of these friends that I have? Because most are just normal friends. They don't watch it all, you know. If you ask them to watch a video, they would rather be butt fucked, you know, by roving bands of violent thugs than watch your video. You know, and there's a lot behind that. But so anyway, as soon as I took his name off, that stopped. Totally stopped. Because it's discouraging to post something and within 10 minutes get a fucking thumbs down. But I figured out it was him. I know it was you, Arturo. Estoy seguro, amigo. Yo comprendo todo tu mente el dedo. I just said in Spanish. I know it's you, dude. I'm totally sure and positive. Now just stick your thumb up your butt. I used to speak great Spanish and pretty damn good Chinese and Russian. Lived in Moscow a while. So Drawing on the Right Side of the Brain is a book that I read. It's really good. Especially in my entire life, in every area of my life, it's been a useful thing. And how it works is your left brain, as I sit here, if my left brain looks over here, it would probably pick out these little round holes in the metal and understand those. It picks out little singular things, you know. And your right brain would tell you, I'm sitting, you know, in the universe, in the Milky Way, on planet Earth. You know, it gives you overall context, and it would see this, you know, I'm on planet Earth in America, and so on, sitting by an RV, and this is the emotional pitch of the situation, and this hole fits into this little hole here in this metal fits into an overall thing that holds a mirror on an RV, and it sort of gives you an overall view. It's like if you can, whenever you're frustrated with art or a mix, which doesn't happen to me anymore, just do the work and it'll work out. But sometimes if I'm sort of curious to look at something in a different way, I'll back up and take a breath, shake my head, and go, wait a minute, I'm obsessing on the snare drum sound when overall the mix is terrible. It's not saying what this song needs to say, and it's not serving the vocal, you know. None of it is. It gives you a context, but when you do that, you can sort of dance on the periphery of where magic happens, you know, in everything, in painting or music or art. You can begin to sort of sweep more red over here and be seeing it with an overview, you know, and pull more blue up here instead of obsessing on the blue here and fucking with this little spot for 40 hours for no point. You can sort of smooth the whole thing out and go more red and more blue. Yeah. Overall, it's done, and then go back in with your left sort of focus and pick out single elements. You know, one of the exercises in the book is the way that we recognize things is weird. So, right, I hate to be so specific. It's weird. There's a lot of stuff, like I don't draw, and I decided not to get into drawing many years ago for a lot of reasons. But in the book, they say this is it doesn't even say it's upside down. It says, please take a pencil and a paper and sketch what you see on this page, and when you're done, turn the page. So I sketched this thing out, you know. I had no idea what it was because it's upside down. It doesn't really make any sense. I sketched it out. When I turned it over, it was a perfect picture of Abraham Lincoln. And what it teaches you is that because you're trying so hard to organize things and you've seen it in a certain way for so long, drawing it upside down, it looked like I was a great artist, you know. And I was like, oh wow. And the exercises in the book are designed to sort of open your mind overall in a way like that, where you have these epiphanies where you go like, oh, I can apply that to everything. Oh, you know, it's like that. They keep coming. It's called Drawing on the Right Side of the Brain. I read it about 30 years ago, and it just absolutely changed everything about my life and the way I approach life, to get that overview and to not be so involved. It's like fighting wars, you know. Hitler got so involved in the minutiae of day-to-day operations that he was so worried about the Americans invading France and micromanaging his generals, he forgot about the overall context of the war. You know, not that Hitler's anybody's fucking hero. He was an asshole, you know. Yet there are certain philosophies, and I'll entertain any philosophy, although I think we all have an inner compass. We do definitely have an inner compass. We always know when something's going on that's not right, that goes against the human condition. But some philosophies say that Hitler And the only difference between Hitler and Gandhi is a set of circumstances, which those are hellacious circumstances, you know. But I've entertained that thought, and it is true in a way, but that gets into the whole question of, is there an overriding set of morals, which I don't think there are, but there are things that go and serve your condition as a mental, physical, and social being. Certain things serve your humanity better, certain ideas and certain motifs, if you will. And we always sense when there's something wrong. And when we go wrong in life, for me, is when I don't follow that inner voice, even though I know something's wrong and it's been wrong a long time, a lot of times in relationships and shit. You know, and it's not always easy to follow that inner compass, because sometimes you run into situations where it's so comfortable being with this woman. You know, the sex is good, she's got money of her own finally, or something, you know. We live together already, what the hell, I'm just going to stick with it. But I've led a life with a road less traveled, where, hell, I'm 49 years old, alone in an RV, with rapidly deteriorating health, I might add, not the least bit afraid, and a lot of pain. Other than that, I'd like to live here forever with these tools. But if I just would have had these tools when I was younger, and the education and skills and experience, so I don't even woulda, coulda, you're shooting all over yourself kind of thing, you know. Things are what they are, and the more I'm able to accept that and try to always, not even try, be changing things proactively for the better always, but realizing things are what they are and accepting that, the happier I am. It's when I want to change things all at once without any patience and like that I begin to get unhappy, you know. No matter how bad things are. Viktor Frankl is another one. Of all the people who went to concentration camps, he figured out, he has some books, Viktor Frankl, he figured out that the people who died right away couldn't let go of the past, and the people who survived said, okay, I am now in a concentration camp, everything I knew before is done, this is the starting of a new thing, I will learn how to scrape and scrap and fight and survive in this new environment. But the people who were like, well, oh my God, I had a wonderful house, and you know, my car's gone, and whatever. They couldn't adapt. They couldn't adjust themselves appropriately. They died very quickly. He survived it and wrote books about it. This is a long ass file. Yes, my children, YouTube is vast, you know. So it's easy to sort of look like an insane man in these, and I think fully that these won't be really understood now, but over a period of time, maybe in 100 or even 1,000 years, that, you know, somebody may put all this together and sort of understand more about it and take an interest in it. I don't think anytime soon. But so it's my little shot at immortality, you know, hopefully somebody someday. But I said I was doing it for my descendants, which I am, and also I said the other day my ancestors, and then I went on to say I'm the only reason that they have ever existed. And that is true, but I mean now. Right now, I have the live ball and play, like in a ball game. They lived so that I can live now, and they fought and did all the things they did. You know, and I have the live action ball, like I'm ready to pass, but I'm going to pass it to some other people and join my ancestors. So it's important for me while I have the ball to play it. the best that I can, even in the harshest circumstances. Probably we all only come up with answers that work for each one of us, although I have come to realize there is an overall set of answers that would work for everybody if they would just accept it, and it's not a religious idea or a philosophical idea. It's just the fact that things are the way they are, and there might not even be a reason for that, but they are the way they are, and the quicker you accept that, the better, always with a view to making things ever better. What is it? Grazie. Grazie, mi nuevo amiga. Tu gusta cuando yo hablo en español, yo escucho mío es lo mismo, Venetian. Yo no tengo práctica en español. Yo pensar, tu comprendo mío cuando yo habla. Por el momento, la accidente yo habla en Chinese. Anyway, it's a crazy world, mad world. I'm gonna do a rapper ending. They always like act real pissed and grab the camera. It's like, yo, I'm out.